afternoon, friends, and thank you very much for being here for this briefing, which is in the usual format. I have here with me my colleague, Mr. Ajay Bisaria, who is Joint Secretary, Eurasia. What I'll do is I have two announcements to make, following which I'll ask Joint Secretary, Eurasia to make an opening statement. And I will take any questions that you want either on the announcement that I have to make one of them or on anything else. And then we will end this part of the interaction. And we will take it from there then. Okay. The first announcement that I have to make relates to Indian assistance being provided currently to Maldives. Those of you who are following the situation in Maldives are perhaps aware that last evening there was a fire at the Sol desalination plant in Maldives, following which there is a major crisis in terms of availability of water in Malé. I understand that this will take quite some time, about a week, to resolve, and therefore the Maldivian government last night contacted the Indian government. The External Affairs Minister did receive a call from her Maldivian counterpart late last night, while most of you were perhaps asleep. And she did burn the midnight oil and got clearances from the Prime Minister as well as other authorities in terms of ensuring that by this morning, 7:30, when you woke up, the first Indian flight was airborne to provide assistance to Maldives in terms of drinking water. We intend to have 5 flights today. The first one was an IL-76. It carried about 20 tons of drinking water. The total of 5 flights will carry 20 tons of drinking water today. The first flight has arrived, and I understand the second one should be reaching shortly. And we will have 3 more flights. Similarly, we will have another 5 flights tomorrow. So there will be 10 flights of drinking water to be carried. We've also made arrangements for 2 ships to move to Maldives. The INS Sukanya, which was in Colombo, has set sail for Maldives, and it would be reaching there late tonight. It has 2 reverse osmosis plants, which can in a day function for about 20 tons of water. Also, we've requested another Indian ship, that is INS Deepak, which will leave tomorrow and will reach Malé day after tomorrow. As you can see, we've mounted an enormous effort in our assistance to provide a member of the SAARC and a close partner of India in its hour of need. In case any of you would like further details, I'm willing to provide that. That's announcement number 1. The other announcement that we have relates to the forthcoming visit of President Vladimir Putin of the Russian Federation to India on 10th and 11th December. He will be coming for the 15th annual summit between India and Russia. What I will do is I'll ask my colleague, Mr. Ajay Bisaria, to take you through the broad contours of this visit and what we expect in terms of outcome from that, and following which the floor will be open for questions on what I have made announcements about. Ajay.
Thank you, Akbar. The President of the Russian Federation, His Excellency Mr. Vladimir Putin, will pay an official visit to India on December 10 and 11 for the 15th India-Russia Annual Summit. He will be accompanied by a high-level official and business delegation. During the visit, President Putin will hold detailed talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, both in the restricted and delegation format. He will call on the President of India, Shri Pranab Mukherjee, who will host a banquet in honor of the dignitary. The two leaders are also expected to jointly interact with the chief executive officers of major companies from both countries. The India-Russia Annual Summit process was initiated under President Putin's leadership during his visit to India in October 2000. It has proved a highly effective mechanism for both countries to take high-level stock of India-Russia relations and to impart direction and impetus to them. The last summit was held in Moscow during the visit of the former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh to Russia in October 2013. The two countries enjoy today what we call a special and privileged strategic partnership. President Putin is known as a close friend of India and an architect of this strategic partnership. And this has been strengthened considerably over the years, over the last 14 years in important and diverse areas. In fact, annual summits are at the apex of an elaborate multi-layered mechanism or machinery for bilateral interaction, which one of the largest we have with any country in the world. The other key institutional mechanisms for high-level dialogue between the two countries, are an Intergovernmental Commission on Military Technical Cooperation, co-chaired by the two defense ministers, and an Intergovernmental Commission on Trade, Economic, Scientific, Technological, and Cultural Cooperation, which our External Affairs Minister co-chairs with Russian Deputy Prime Minister Rogozin. We also have the India-Russia Trade and Investment Forum, which is co-chaired by our Commerce and Industry Minister and the Russian Minister for Economic Development. This is a very significant visit. It will be the first annual summit meeting between President Putin and Prime Minister Modi. The two leaders have already met twice this year. They first met on the sidelines of the BRICS summit in Brazil in July for what was a very warm and friendly conversation. Prime Minister Modi mentioned at that meeting that every child in India knows that our closest friend is Russia. They met for the second time in Australia for the G20 summit on November 15-16th. The Prime Minister also met with the Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev on the sidelines of the East Asia Summit in Myanmar on November the 13th. Russia is a long-standing and steadfast partner for India. We attach the greatest importance to our bilateral relations. Our Prime Minister considers our relations with Russia a major foreign policy priority for the country. He has warm recollections of his 3 visits to Russia as the Chief Minister of Gujarat and has been very happy at his interactions with President Putin. We have had intense exchanges with this key partner ever since the new government took office in India. Russian Deputy Prime Minister Rogozin visited New Delhi in June and November. During his last visit, Deputy Prime Minister Rogozin co-chaired the 20th session of the Intergovernmental Commission along with our External Affairs Minister. Our External Affairs Minister has also met her Russian counterpart, Foreign Minister Lavrov, on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly and the SCO, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Dushanbe. The Secretary of the Russian Security Council, Nikolai Patrushev, visited New Delhi last week for a meeting with our National Security Advisor. Russia is a significant partner for India in strategic sectors like defense, nuclear energy, science, including space. Russia is also our primary defense partner and will remain so for decades. Bilateral economic, commercial and investment ties between India and Russia have been growing but are way below potential. Bilateral trade in 2013 stood at about $10 billion and is projected to stay at the same level in 2014. We are making strenuous efforts to create conducive conditions for strengthening our economic linkages through trade and investment. We are keenly interested in participating in more hydrocarbon projects in Russia. There has been also a substantial increase in tourist inflows between the two countries in recent years. The recently announced e-visa facility has also been extended to Russian nationals, and this is expected to boost tourist arrivals further. Cultural exchange is an important component of India-Russia relations. The Festival of Russian Culture is being celebrated in India already this year, and the Year of Indian Culture will be celebrated in Russia next year. Russia is also amongst our most important interlocutors on regional, international, and multilateral issues. Our two countries work closely together in international fora, at the United Nations and other groupings such as the G20, BRICS, the East Asia Summit, and the Russia-India-China trilateral process. The two leaders can be expected to exchange views on developments in the region and developing cooperation in forums where we are members. We have an identity or similarity of views with Russia on important global issues, including on the threats from terrorism, particularly in our shared neighborhood. On multipolarity is an important element in the global architecture, and the need to defuse the Cold War-like tensions that are increasingly manifesting themselves in global relations. India has said clearly that it cannot be party to any economic sanctions against Russia. President Putin's visit is a landmark event and is expected to provide a fresh impetus to the existing excellent bilateral relations between our countries. A dominant theme of this summit will be the spelling out by the two leaders of a joint vision of our relationship for the next decade. It will provide a roadmap for enhancing the partnership between our countries to qualitatively new levels. It will have a strong focus on redefining the economic partnership. Several documents are under preparation for signing at the summit. These include in the fields of defense, nuclear energy, customs, banking, and energy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay. And before I begin, I just wanted to make a correction. I don't know whether I said 200 tons or 20. And if I said 20, it's an error. It's 200 tons of water for the 5 sorties. So over 2 days, it's multiplied by 2. Yes, the floor is now open for questions on what I announce in terms of Maldives and anything else, and then we'll take it from there. No, it's 200 for 5 sorties. So it's 2 days. The first today it will be 200, another 200 tomorrow. Pardon? Correct. 400 in all through airlifting, and the rest through the ships. Per day. 20 tons per day. Let me explain. Maybe I have incorrectly explained. Let me explain. 5 sorties today would be 200 tons. 5 sorties tomorrow would be another 200 tons. When the ships reach, starting from tomorrow, it would be 20 tons per day. From the RO. Yes, from the RO plant. There are 2 RO plants. So, 40 tons per day. On the first day, it increases when the second ship comes there. Yes, let's start. Now, we will deal with that later on. Let's finish. Anything else on Maldives? Let's go one by one.
Are we the only ones giving water, or other countries also?
I am not aware. We certainly are the first. I do not know if there are others. As far as I know, so far we've been the only ones. And what is the only thing that they require right now? Okay, if there is nothing on Maldives, on anything else, let's go one by one. Yes, Nidhi?
Akbar, there's been a series of major terror attacks in Jammu and Kashmir today, and also we've seen Hafiz Saeed holding a massive rally in Lahore side by side since yesterday, and he spoke today again. Does the government of India have a reaction to what has taken place both in Pakistan and the terror attacks today?
Nidhi, let me try and respond to you in the areas which I focus on. And that is not what happens inside India, but what happens outside, which could have an impact on us inside. So I will answer only part of your question. Now, if you would want me to say how we see what is happening in this so-called Ijtima of the Jamaatul Dawa, I think I would describe it as nothing short of mainstreaming of terrorism. Let me try and explain to you why I said mainstreaming of terrorism. This was an event which took place at a national monument in Pakistan. It was an event where large amount of police personnel were deployed. It was an event which was advertised all across Pakistan, and it was an event by an organization which is proscribed not only by India, but by the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, and the United Nations under UN Resolution 1267. Also, it was addressed by an individual who is designated as a terrorist under the same United Nations Security Council resolution, that is UN Resolution 1267. If these sort of facilities are provided to a designated terrorist organization or a designated terrorist entity, with people also indicating and reports which have come that even trained services were provided for this organization and entity, this is nothing short of mainstreaming a terrorist entity and a terrorist who is designated so all over the world. Obviously, it means this is blatant disregard for the global norms which are evolving against terrorism. We'll leave that. Anybody else? If not, thank you very much. We'll end this discussion now.